Virgo, how's it going? I have no idea what this reading is about, but I got this really awesome memory of me and my sister a few years ago when we went to San Francisco. And we went to this place called the Boom Boom Room and danced till 4 in the morning, smoking weed and drinking Modelo's, listening to rappers. It was like the best night of my life. I taught my sister how to lean back. I used to really crip walk back in the day. I was a little gangsta back in the day. I was a little bit of a wigger. And so I don't know where this reading is going to take us, because that was such a great memory. It was just fucking smoking weed in a club was just awesome. It was a great vibe. It was all older people, all over past 30, just hanging in a club at 4 in the morning in San Francisco. It was incredible. It was the best night. If I could ever redo a night, it would be that night. It was awesome. Anyways, okay. So, starting with that amazing memory, Virgo, let's see where this takes us. Let's see where this ride goes. Liar, loser. The fuck? Okay, what's this one? Ooh, look at the peace pipe in reverse. What am I talking about? A place where I was smoking weed. All right, so that's peace pipe in reverse. Wow. My stories always lead down something, so I have to tell them because it just opens up the reading somehow, or ends the reading, or I don't know, man. My stories help for some reason. I was I'm not telling any stories this time around. I am not telling stories on YouTube again. And then I just started telling stories. I can't stop myself from channeling, What's this last one? Wow. Now I'm hearing the old me's dead and gone, dead and gone. Okay. The liar. Okay, so all that big old thing called pride, old me's dead and gone, but the new me'll be alright, 'cause I've been traveling on this road too long. Yeah, this is dead and gone. This is the song. Somebody who is not, they're not a part of your crew. They're not somebody you trust, okay? Somebody is calling you a liar. And the thing is you're not a loser, okay? You're a winner. You're not a loser. So I feel like you're being accused of something right now, and it has to come out because this is an emergency. And actually, this makes sense because when my sister and I were in San Francisco, we took a mental health break, okay, because my sister was going to lose her mind. Her husband had just left her. Her dog that she loved like a son, her ex-husband killed and ran over. She was having nightmares. She was having a breakdown. So we left and went into the States because it was winter. And we went through Tennessee, down, and then around into Houston, and then went to San Francisco for a concert. We went to go see Mike Pattinson from Peeping Tom. And so, is that Mike? What the fuck's his name? Yeah, I forget what his name is. Lead singer from Peeping Tom. I think it's Pattinson. Anyways, so I was kind of documenting the trip. We spent a couple days in Vegas and stuff, and I didn't tell anybody why we went on this trip. To everybody, it seemed like my sister and I had endless amounts of money and we were just spending it frivolously in the States because we didn't care. But the reason why we were there was because my sister was like do or die at that point. Like she had to leave. It wasn't even a point of she could get through it with like medication or therapy. She physically had to leave where she was. And at the time, I was on disability because my scoliosis in my back was so bad that I had to take a few months off. So I was on disability. So I just left with her because I was like, thank God I was on disability, because had she had to go by herself, like we spent nights in the car, like it was like an awesome experience. But the reason why we were there wasn't what it looked like to everybody else, right? So I feel like that's why I told that story, right? Like we just had the fun that we could while we could, right? And then we ended up chilling with my aunt in Mount Shasta for like 3 weeks, and then she, got her shit together with the lovely work of the mountain. I tell you, Northern California is like amazing energy. She was able to go home and face her fears and face what everything, that had happened. $40,000 in debt afterwards, which her ex-husband ended up actually helping her pay off, because he knew that he was the one that drove her to the breaking point, right? But to everybody else, it was this trip of a lifetime, and it made people jealous. And I was like, oh, if only you knew like why we had to do this. Like I wasn't there voluntarily. Like I lost my disability, I had to pay some money back. Like it really fucked me up. But had my sister had gone by herself, she may not have even come back. Right? So it's like when you sacrifice something, and then you've got these outlookers that think they know what they're talking about, and then they start spreading that around. And it's like one lie leads to another lie, leads to another lie. And it was like you never passed the pipe on it, which means you never talked about it. So how does somebody know what happened if they never spoke to you about it? Right? And that's where this scales of justice come through, because it's like something has to even out in this. And if the world knows why you left, plus if you have a witness with you, if the world knows why you left, and they all of a sudden catch wind of people making up their own stories and trashing you, and then that starts to affect your life, because it's going to be like a domino effect, right? It's going to just cascade into other things, because people's lies can ruin lives, right? And like, could you imagine? And then they get like that the universe was actually with you the whole time you went through something, and then they catch wind of this, that they're calling you a liar when they were with you. Like, do you know how many times because where we ended up was Mount Shasta. It's a mountain. It's this like beautiful mountain that actually, if you look really far back from, it looks like a woman laying down. It's a really incredible mountain, and the energy there. And we went to all these magical places, and we found waterfalls, and we found like really blessed water, and the life just kind of came back into us. Like mountains have these ability. The mountains, they're not what you think they are. I think they're more than what rock is, right? I believe it's like ancestors. I believe it's old bones, right? That rocks are old bones. And actually, when I was driving through the mountains just a couple months ago, there's this break in between a township, because it's a valley, and you can see a woman laying down, and it looks like she's pregnant. And the entire middle of her is broken. So it's almost like this woman was pregnant, and it's like her baby came popping out of her stomach like aliens. Like when you look at mountains, they're so, man, each one is so different, and they have such healing purposes. I've had numerous dreams where I've taken people to the mountains to have conversations with them, because I had to take them to a place where they wouldn't be able to lie. And it's really fascinating. And it's like, so if you went through something that was life-changing, and then you catch wind, maybe you might not even catch wind of this. That's what I just got. You might not even catch wind of this. Because I don't know if the truth about my sister and I ever really got out to our family about why we took off. Our family doesn't talk to us. Nobody speaks to us. Everybody's terrified of us. And I don't really know why, but whatever. Fuck, it doesn't matter. But I know, like, I have this feeling that, like somebody, like somebody's making up something, and if they knew the truth, they wouldn't have ever been a part of it. But they don't know the truth, so the fact that they're talking shit, you might not ever get wind of it. Right? You're not going to catch wind of everything that happens, right? That everything is going on. Like, it's only like bits and pieces. So that's why the scales have come out, because there has to be a fairness now, right? The truth has got to be told, right? And 911 emergency in reverse. Yeah. Like, I do feel like it was an emergency, but nobody took it as one, right? Like when you have to leave, when you have to physically leave something because you can't sit there anymore, I believe it's like a life or death situation. Like if you choose to stay, then I think it stops you in some way. Right? When you get the verge to move, because sometimes when you get the verge to move, it's not okay. And it's just antsiness, and it's just you don't know how to calm down properly, right? Really? But when you get that ants to move, because you're gonna physically die if you stay where you are, and somebody talks shit about that as if they know what they're talking about, but they've never experienced anything like that. So that's why their small mind can't grasp anything more than a trip or a vacation, right? Like that, there wasn't a trip or a vacation. Like I barely slept. Like I was on edge every day thinking about her, not knowing what was going on in her head and where we were going to be the next day. And like that wasn't a vacation, but to everybody else it was, right? So that's why it's like, man, social media and stuff, like it's I mean, testing to have media and get your words out properly that people are going to actually translate it the way it comes out, right? Aw, look at Six of Cups. Like, it's almost like you can't believe that somebody would say this. Like, somebody knows you and they talked shit about you. Ooh, Queen of Swords, like they sang a little fucking song about what they thought they knew, because this was a fight to them. Like they were convinced that what you did is exactly how they're saying it. And that's the thing, is with this Knight of Wands, I all I can see is two sides. There are two sides to a story, motherfucker. Right? Two sides to a story. Like, are you kidding me? You can't make that up. Like you have to, if you're going to go move forward with something, then you have to see all aspects of it. Right? Like any proper investigator would. Like, you have to look at every angle. You can't just go with one side and think you know because you think you know somebody. Unless you've sat around and you've spoke to them and you know for sure what happened, you should never go around telling anybody about it. That's very, very immature energy, right? And it's like this person, they were willing to battle you on your truth. On your truth. Like they knew what they were talking about. And I think they're so below you that you can't even see them. Like you're like looking around like, who could possibly hurt me? But they're so low that you're not looking down, right? Because why would you? There are two sides to these stories. You know, people got to realize that. They got to recognize that. Yeah. I think in the end, they thought they could scare you, right? I think that you were just probably going to back down, and you know, these people, they tend to, they tend to come and they hide in the shadows, and then they'll come out and they'll go blah 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 blah, right? And then they'll come back down, and you're like, you know, you're one of those people. Like, you can't even keep it together if you tried. Like, you can't even come and have a conversation with me. You just gotta come out and you gotta yell and then go running away again, right? All in the dark, all playing mind games, all playing bullshit like you know what you're talking about when you don't. You know, you got to be careful with know-it-alls. Like people that are like, I know for a fact. Well, how do you know for a fact? Like, did you speak to them themselves? Did you actually speak to them, or did you speak through them to another person that didn't even speak to them face to face? They're going through a third person, right? Like this person's like, they went through like a third person through a third person, and they were like, I got it. I got the story. They're a liar. They lied. This wasn't an emergency. There was no emergency. Yeah, there was. But it just didn't look like an emergency. What would it look like as an animal if this emergency was... What would it look like as an animal if it was categorized as one? The biggest fucking the biggest whale there is in the ocean. The blue whale. That's the biggest whale. There's nothing bigger than it. This was the biggest emergency possible. And they played it off and said, you were a liar. And now I can get, even if the whole world knows, I don't give a damn about what they think. I don't have to stand up to their guns. I don't have to sit down when they say, tell me I'm overboard, but you just want to see me sink. And that's the thing, is like, this, like, they said that everything was overboard. They said that everything you said was overboard. And you had to do what they said because they were in control and they knew what was happening and they knew you better than you. So they were, yeah, there's the army. That's why the fire ants. It's like they were trying to tell you where to sit and where to stand and what to do because you were lying about everything, and they had to fix you. They had to do something for you because they loved you and they knew the truth, when really they were too fucking scared to hear the truth, which is why they bullied you into not telling it. They bullied you into silence, trying to scare you. Well, this person's not going to like it because this shit just got fucking aired out to the public, bitch. To the public. Your emergency was an emergency, and now I feel like now they are going to get put into energy, and it's going to be an emergency, and nobody's going to respond. Hope it makes sense. See you later, Virgo.